Today, I'm talking about a 15-year-old boy who bought a shower curtain that would go on to break the internet. In approximately 2008, when Reddit user Tom Tesh H was 15 years old, he saw a shower curtain for sale and decided that it looked cool. The fabric featured a number of celebrity faces in a pop art style, entirely in shades of blue, black, and white. And I know I promised that I'm not going to go on tangents, but I have to mention shower curtains. Shower curtains are the worst things in the world. I would never in a million years install bathrooms that utilized a shower curtain because they're disgusting. For some reason, why do they come close to you when you take, it's got to be something to do with air moving around and heat and all that. But why is it when you're taking a shower, does that shower curtain often just start drifting towards your body? And it's like, don't touch me. And then when it touches you, like, oh, great. Now I got to wash that part of my body again because I just assume it's disgusting because it's been touching other people who are not me. But still, it's not nice. Shower curtains suck. The fabric featured a number of celebrity faces in a pop art style, entirely in shades of blue, black, and white. Admittedly, he did not know who all the celebrities were. He may not have even known who any were. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you may want to open up Google Images because due to the topic of today's episode, it's going to be a little image heavy. Or even better, just come and watch on YouTube so you can see not only all the images, but also all the fantastic editing. But also, if you're listening on a podcast, it's totally fun as well. Actually, a little bit of an inside look behind the curtain, or should I say, shower curtain, like people to listen and watch on both rather than come to one specific platform, because it's good to be diversified. Like one of the reasons I do these as podcasts and as YouTube channels is because I had a lot of YouTube channels and I was like, that's a little bit scary, isn't it? But if I have podcasts as well, it diversifies me a little. It makes me a little bit safer on the internet so that if YouTube goes away, I can still afford things, which is nice. And while you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, and get in the comments, which I'll continue to type in all caps. But back on track. This mystery first spread online approximately 2 years ago. In early 2020, Tom Tesh H posted on my tip of my tongue explaining the situation. There were 8 celebrity images, and Reddit pieced together not only what 7 of them are, but they also found the original photographs. He posted it again in 2021, both on Tip of My Tongue and on No Stupid Questions, before creating the mystery's own subreddit. Celebrity number 1 was Adriana Lima, Victoria's Secret's model. Right away, you can tell by comparing the original image and the image on Reddit that it's obvious that it's the same picture. But I would have never recognized her from just the pop art style. Yes, this is totally true. So what we're looking at, basically, if you're listening and you can't be bothered to whip out the pop art images of these people, matching graphic sides, Celebrity number 2 is Josh Holloway, Sawyer from Lost. At the time these curtains would have been created, approximately 2008, he was mostly known for the show Lost. A very important aspect of the image is that while Josh has quite a bit of stubble in the original photo, it's been removed for the pop art. His head also has been truncated quite a bit. Wow, people are actually good at spotting these. His face is like longer in real life, and on the left, it's wider. Like I would definitely not recognize that as Josh Holloway. It feels like they adapted. The pop artist realized it was too tall for how they placed it on the fabric and lazily changed it up a bit at the bottom of the image to instead of the corner, making his face both shorter and wider. Still, it's unmistakable when alongside the original. Celebrity number 3 is Adriana Lima. I know I'm probably saying that name wrong. Only person to appear on this fabric twice. I don't know. This is either the designer of this art piece has a serious crush on her, or he was too lazy to think 8 different celebrities. To be fair, this does sound like a lot of work. The other alternative would be that the designer had no idea who any of these people are and was just trying to quickly churn out some contract work. Because Adriana looks so different in this image compared to the first that I would never have guessed it was the same person, without having been told. This photo was also taken in 2004 at the Victoria's Secret Angels Across America tour. Celebrity number 4 is actress Jessica Alba. Once again, we can see the truncated effect on the image. Still, her head is shorter and wider than Josh's was, and it's visibly changed the angle and size of her arm. Still, this is pretty clearly the same image. This photo is from the 2007 Teen Choice Awards. Celebrity Travis Fimmel, who I have no idea who this is, who I've never seen before in my life. Yes, he's a model and actor. He appeared in music videos for both Janet Jackson and Jennifer Lopez. This photo was taken in 2003 at WB Upfront, and considering how generic looking the artist's rendering is, I'm genuinely impressed that anyone was able to identify this picture. While Travis is fairly well known now for the show Vikings, he was hardly a major celebrity when the fabric was created. Yeah, so this guy was like in the background of a music video, and he's on the same thing with Jessica Alba. Celebrity number 7 is Ian Somerhalder. This dude was also on Lost. Whoever made this is a fan of Lost. This photo was taken in 2005 at the ABC Winter Press Tour party. The only notable thing about this image is that it shows removing stubble as an option, but not a given. Yes, this dude has stubble in the real photo, and then he has stubble in the pop art photo. Finally, celebrity number 8 shows us what Orlando Bloom would look like if we cut his nose, which makes it look like his nose kind of disappeared, but that's fine. Still looks good. If you were paying attention, you'd have picked up on the fact that all the source photos for the shower curtain had been taken between 2003 and 2007, with the curtain having originally been purchased by Tom Tesh in 2008. With a very clear time frame for when these photos would have been taken and when the celebrities would have been notable enough to put a piece of art together, and yet with such a limited time frame and all the effort that has already been put into the search of the internet was completely unable to identify who the remaining image was supposed to be. Okay, so celebrity number 6. Join me, my friends, and prepare to become extremely annoyed. Or more specifically, I'm about to show you an image, it's a recognizable face. The moment you see her, you're going to feel your brain telling you that you've seen this woman before. You might even immediately have a guess as to who it is, like I did. Perhaps your guess was the same as mine, or perhaps it's one of the other 200 celebrities that have been researched trying to find a matching image. I'd love to hear your guess when you look at the image before reading further. Ladies and gentlemen, celebrity number 6. Okay, yeah, again, this is like, I feel like I know this person. Seriously, she looks really familiar, right? My 2 initial thoughts were either Sharon Stone before I was aware of the time period for the image, or Elizabeth Banks. Both have already been investigated, so while I was wrong, at least my gut reaction wasn't completely insane. Or maybe it was and I was looking at this all wrong. There is a version of this print available on eBay, and one of the celebrity names listed was Brad Pitt. I know this is clearly a woman. I think the image looks clearly female and nothing like Brad Pitt. But in the early days of this mystery, the eBay listing resulted in a lot of time being spent searching for a matching photo of Pitt, although nothing could be found. But then they have a comprehensive list of hundreds of various suggested celebrities that it could be. So instead, let's talk about some of the processes that were used in the search. The images are almost exclusively from press events. The first thing people did was reach out to representatives at Getty Images, as they were the likely owners of the mysterious photograph. Multiple people tried to contact them, but none of the representatives they spoke to recognized the image. This doesn't mean that Getty doesn't own it, it's just that people they spoke to were no better at identifying it than any of the rest of us were. Yeah, and Getty has a lot of images. Like, definitely, people at Getty are not aware of every image on Getty. With that tactic yielding no results, the next step was to try and remember the creator of this art. There is a copy of this fabric that can be found in red and gray instead of blue and white, and it's sold by Latke Mraz, a fabric company headquartered in Prague. One Reddit user was able to find a 2013 newsletter from Latke Mraz that listed their fabric vendors. None of the 3 companies mentioned seemed to be responsible, or at least no evidence of it could be found, so it may have been created by a vendor that didn't appear in that newsletter. It's also very possible that the companies were lying about having created it due to fears of using copyrighted images as the basis of their art. Realistically, the best way to solve the mystery isn't going to be to track down the original artist, as that may be impossible to do anyway. Someone is likely going to have seen the image and immediately recognize where it came from. Until then, brute force research by scouring images is the best we have to go on. We're not without clues either. We know this time period that these images are from. This led to it. Evangeline Lilly being one of the frontrunners for the search, as there are already 2 cast members from Lost featured, and she looked like a reasonable match for the image. The original photo could not be found. We also know that Travis Fimmel was largely unknown at the time, predominantly being a model. He has since gained a lot of fame, but that wasn't until years after this pattern was produced. It's also possible that celebrity number 6 is another lesser-known model from the same time, whose career has only waned since then. Adriana Lima appears twice on the fabric, so we know that we can't rule out any of the 6 celebrities already used. Enthusiastic Redditors with nothing better to do have gone so far as to replicate the color of the original image, as well as render it in 3D, including moving video renders of the image. That's a lot of time to spend creating evidence that ultimately is likely so different from the original that we can't guarantee it has any real value. But it's dedicated, isn't it? Celebrity number 6? Solved? In November of 2021, word started going around that the mystery had finally been solved. After years of searching the mystery, celebrity was, in fact, Brad Pitt. This was a shocking turn of events, considering that he had been extensively researched at the beginning of the hunt. When the image was revealed, however, people found the similarity undeniable. Oh, it's similar, isn't it? It is similar, but it's not quite the same. Like if they did this, I'm looking at a photo of Brad Pitt, I'm comparing it to the pop art image, and then I'm comparing that in my mind to the previous pop images. The other pop art images were a lot more simple. Other than removing Orlando Bloom's hands that were in front of his shirt, putting the image of the shirt back in which was a necessary change, this is very different. I don't think so. The shading resulting from the shadows on his face seemed to be a dead giveaway, and when inspecting only very close details, it looked like a solid match. But I'm not convinced. The most notable difference is that Brad Pitt's right ear clearly isn't visible. While celebrity number 6 has their hair tucked behind the ear, there was initially some optimism. Ultimately, the community was not convinced either. The poll on the celebrity number 6 subreddit started off with roughly a 50-50 split, but by the time the poll closed, after people had a little more time to mull over the evidence, the image of Brad Pitt was rejected 2-1. It's interesting that after 2 years, the search wound up back at the same place it had started. But alas, it was still not the answer. All we've learned is that the photo for celebrity number 6 will look a lot like this picture of Brad Pitt. That's pretty obvious, considering that the original photograph looked like the thing printed on the fabric, but the lighting from this picture isn't a perfect match for the sort of lighting necessary. But it's also a studio photograph. Like this has been shot in a photographer's studio. It's a headshot of Brad Pitt. So we'd be looking for a headshot, but headshots are all lit in similar ways. Like photographers have studio lights that are set up in similar ways. So it's not exactly surprising that the lighting is the same. If you took another person and sat them in Brad Pitt's chair right here, the lighting would be the same. Still, without the actual photo in front of us, that information doesn't help. And without that information, the actual photo would likely have been no less recognizable as celebrity number 6. If I learned anything from previous episodes, assuming it was published before this, also possibly not, it's that people are hard to identify when lacking proper details. Like other stories, you take a recognizable celebrity, then oversaturate the image to remove everything about that person that makes them recognizable, and you're left with a vague outline that could be nearly anyone that shares a few key characteristics like hair length and eye shape. I cannot stress enough, just too many celebrities have been suggested, and all of them seem viable candidates. From Heidi Klum to Val Kilmer, from Olivia Wilde to Bjork, and even Jean-Claude Van Damme. These are very different looking people, but I guess they all got this very strong jawline that the person in the picture does seem to have. The other images I could have let slide were that the mystery, but celebrity number 6 is absolutely maddening. Not only is the celebrity so familiar looking, but I could swear I've seen this exact image before. And yet, despite being so confident that I must have seen the original image before, after researching, I can't even tell you if it's a man or a woman on the fabric. This mystery will not be unsolved forever. It took 1 year to find the original photos used for the other 7 celebrities, and it's already been another year focused exclusively on celebrity number 6. My only hope is that it is still unsolved by the time this episode reaches YouTube, unless it was solved by the superhero fact boy as he kicked in the door at a lackey Raz demanding that they hand over the facts. Yes, this has been an episode of the Dead Reckoning podcast. If you'd like to watch something else right now and you're watching on YouTube, on the screen is a link to a previous episode, which we enjoyed making. Or if you're listening to this show, thank you for listening. Please leave a review. That would be amazing. And I will see you next time. Take care.